And what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to a new segment from the Talkin Football podcast, the DK Film Room, a Giants rant session. I'm joined here with my guy, Danny. You guys know him from the NFC East prediction videos. Danny, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing. New segment, new intro. I'm ready to roll, and let's get right to it.
So you guys know that we are Giants fans, and we are ready to break this team down to the ground. They're coming off a really bad week against the Kansas City Chiefs in primetime, where they lost 22-9 because of many different reasons. And we'll start breaking it down with this absolutely horrible play call. You can see here, first and goal with 3 minutes left. This is like their last real chance. I mean, the game was already over at this point. It's first and goal. You know you got to attack the end zone. And they're running curls before the end zone. What are we doing? What are we doing? If we're being real, what are we doing? What, genuinely speaking, are we doing right now? Why are we not running to the end zone? Where's the RPO? Where's the fun play calls? I don't get this. Why aren't we running Jason Garrett offense? I don't get this. Danny, what do you think about this?
First and goal here, 3 minutes left. I mean, there's no unique play calling, and they should have been practicing this type of situation in practice on Wednesday. Like, this is what you cannot do. I mean, don't blame the O-line on this because, you know, they're tired. Illuminor and Thomas before this had 100% win rate. You cannot blame the offensive line. This is strictly on Kafka and Dayball for not, studying this situation further. It seems to be here, Wandale at your top of the screen just got absolutely murdered in the slot there. You have Theo Johnson, with probably a, strong little safety on him, on his back, definitely not throwing the ball there. You got Schmitz bodying him at the top. Runyon looks like he's, going home for a chicken break. And then you have, Singletary there, with a guy on his back and just broken offensive line. I don't know what we're doing here. This is where first and goal, I'm taking my shot with Scadaboo here. I'm probably either pitching it to him because, he could definitely get out of bounds and break a tackle and get in the end zone there. Or I'm running an RPO like you said. Yeah, this is just unacceptable because, to that point, we hadn't had a touchdown since the second half or the first half. And honestly, Wilson just threw this to the back of the end zone. This is just unacceptable calling.
I 100% agree. I mean, we are at this point where it's week 3, and I know Giants Nation with Bobby Skinner talked about this. I know Justin Pennick talked about it on Talking Giants. But let's be real here. We're not even in October yet, and we're already talking about how the season is over because of this horrible play calling here. I mean, it's week 3, and I think we've scored 2 red zone touchdowns and 8 tries, something along those lines. That's horrible. That's horrible. And you can't kick a field goal here. I mean, you can't kick a field goal to begin with here because you're already down by 2 scores. But Gano gets hurt in warm-ups. It's just an unbelievable thing. It only happens to us. What does this say about New York? It says that we are a silly franchise and a silly organization because we are dealing with the same stuff year in and year out. This is year 3 of this BS where we come out and we're like, oh, well, you know what? We have a good team. They have grit. What even is grit? This team has no grit. They have no passion or no energy. You see it all the time. Burns is getting home, and he's like, yo, yeah, great, I got a QB hit, but guess what? There's a 15-yard completion because Drew Phillips thinks he's on the freaking Kansas City Chiefs. It makes absolutely no sense to me. What are you doing? Genuinely. How can you get home as much as Tibbs, who's been really good this year? Tibbs, Abdul, Burns, these guys are getting home, but there's always someone open. It's unacceptable, and it just can't continue for that much longer, if at all. So without further ado, let's go to our next segment here. Strugglers. And there were a lot of them. I highlighted Drew Phillips and Russell Wilson as the main ones, but there's more than that, all right? That interior, they actually weren't that bad. Statistically, they weren't as bad as I thought they were. It's just you got to be better than that. JMS is getting pushed back play after play after play. It's come on. I know in the run, he's pretty good, but in the pass, he's just horrible. Thomas and Illuminor were doing their job. The interior's got to do their job. And it sucks for me to say that because to start the game, they were pretty good. Tracy was getting yards before he dislocated his shoulder. Scat was getting yards. It's just like, I need something more. Who else was struggling? Wandale, Leak, Slayton, Theo Johnson. Basically, all of our receivers, they got no separation. Is that the play calling on either offensive or defensive, or is that because they just couldn't get going? I don't know, but that needs to fix.
Yeah, I'm highlighting what you said with the receiver core. Honestly, I believe it's the play calling because highlighting with Russ's struggles, there was an opportunity where Malik was wide open, even though they were playing the triangle system on him, where you have two shadowers and one man. He was wide open in the middle of that, and it was where Russ escaped the pocket and could have threw a 25-yard moon ball to Malik, right to his chest. Easy first down, easy completion, move the chains. He runs out of the pocket and throws the ball out of bounds. That's just bad QB awareness because with Dart, he'll stay in that pocket and throw that rock easily. I think any quarterback would. But we're as Giants fans, we're living in the daunting age of Russell Wilson, where he's not in his prime anymore and is looking to save his body rather than put something in for the team. But honestly, I look at this defense and there's one guy who stood out, is according to PFF, who is not really a struggler, and that's Dexter Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
He's been one-on-one a lot this year. He has not been double teamed, and he is not taking advantage of it. He had a 59.4 PFF grade. That's one of the worst of his career. I've never seen a guy go from 9 sacks in 5 games last year and then hurting his elbow to 0 sacks in 3 games and limited pressure. We need him back because when he gets doubled, the holes open up immediately. And we have that D-line now where we could do that. But playing Abdul on off-ball linebacker, as a Penn Stater, he hasn't played that since freshman year. He's a top 3 talent as an edge. Put him at edge. There's play calls where we could get all of our guys on the D-line on the field at the same time. We did it versus Dallas. Kayvon got the sack. It was excellent. And then we've just done nothing. This is where you miss Wink because Wink got the best out of Banks, Dexter, Okereke, McFadden, all those guys, even McKinney, Flott. Oh my goodness, the schemes were endless. But on the offensive end, we do the same. It's so predictable. We run the ball on first down, we run the ball on second down, and then we run the 6-yard curl, the 5-yard curl on 3rd and long every single time. And they do it almost immediately. It's just we say we're a West Coast offense, but we're really we're just a run and gun without the gun. That's it. The most gun I've seen us run is gun spread. We always have the 5 out wide. I can't stand that. That is the worst play calling I've ever seen in my life. It's got to start. We got to start fresh.
I agree. Yeah.
I've never been a fan of starting fresh, especially with a rookie QB. But I think to save the organization, it has to start now. I fire them.
Yeah.
I fire all of them today, immediately.
And the thing, I want to go back to that point you were making about Abdul Carter being an off-ball linebacker. The thing is, I don't mind it because we've seen those kind of plays where, like Micah Parsons when he was with Dallas before they hired Eberflus, he would drop back into coverage occasionally, not a lot, occasionally. TJ Watt, same thing. He has that kind of ability where he can drop back if needed. Here's the thing, though. Abdul Carter was lining up as an off-ball linebacker, but he was coming after the quarterback more than he was dropping back into coverage. That becomes predictable. And you saw it. I'm not sure, Danny. I think it was in the second quarter when Mahomes was going, "Hey, yo, check 51, check 51, yo, check 51. Yo, he's coming. I mean, it's the second quarter, and he's already predicting what you're going to do. Not the fourth after a full game. It's the second quarter, and he says, "Oh, yo, Abdul Carter, he's coming, man. Yo, Abdul Carter. Texas Tech University." He knows he's coming. All right, and it's so predictable. I just don't quite get it. And it's like you're just giving the most bland offense. Like this is like pepper and salt seasoning. There's no Cajun. There's nothing like that. It is so bland and boring that it hurts because there's so much potential here. And you know that, right? Carter, Dexy, well, when he's good. Thibodeau has been great. I said that before. Burns, I like McFadden, who even though he's hurt. Okereke, he's been all right this year. There's so much potential with that front six right there. And they just aren't unlocking it. And is it Bowen's scheme? Yes. There's no like, oh, what's the play? No, it's not. It's not. Because under Wink, like you said, they were getting home. All right. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Because that's the way it was. And the fact that you're using Abdul Carter as a linebacker and he's blitzing a lot, that's one less guy over the middle of the field where the Giants get crushed on those like 2nd and 8s. And like that's what happens. They just get crushed over the middle. I just don't get. There's nothing wrong with having him line up as a defensive tackle next to Dexy. There's nothing wrong with that. He's that athletic. He was beating Creed Humphrey, who's the best center in football. And that's not a wild statement. He is. The fact that he was getting by him just like that, filthy spin move, whatever he was doing. And it's hard for him to get home when you're running the same plays defensively over and over and over again. It's like Madden suggestions on defense. They're not really that good.
Yeah, I mean, the over-the-middle stuff, I saw it before pre-snap. And, the only guy we have, near the middle is Holland, but we have to bring him in because the run defense sucks. We always get beat over the middle, and when we do, I'm furious. That pisses me off more than anything because it's always on the 2nd and 15s, and then they go for it's 8-yard catch, but then it goes for 20 yards off or after the catch. That's the worst thing possible. Where's my cover 0 press man? I need that because that stuff works. That stuff works every time. It's very annoying because what you said with Mahomes. Carter was the spy at that point, and he said check 51Q, so that means potential for spy, potential to blitz. So that means the line would shift over if it was a run, the line would stay put if it was a pass. So Carter came down and was a spy, and they perfectly predicted that, and they got something over the middle to Hollywood Brown. That was just an easy slant route that went for 15. So that's just you said it before. You said you cannot expect Mahomes to be down for that long. And then it was to a point in the second half where in the third quarter, with like 10 minutes left, they're in man. Yeah, that happened 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
He knew when to take his shots. And I think it was the second time after he said they're in man was when the 50-yard pass interference call on Phillips. That was awful. Oh, my goodness, that was so bad. We have no identity to where we play the guy and not the ball. Play the ball. Turn around. Oh my God. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I hate when we set our corners. Our ball hawk corner at Debo 6 yards off the receiver. I can't stand that. Press him at the line.
And they do that. They do that all the time on like 3rd and short. It was like 3rd and 2, and they were playing like 5 yards off. Like, it doesn't make sense.
There's no identity on the defense. If there is, it's soft. Soft and cushion. That should be our nickname because we're so soft on defense. I'd rather us get beat trying to press than not press at all. I could live with that at the end of the day. With the talent we have and the talent on defense that can be produced, I'd rather us get beat trying than not try at all because I could live with that. And I know that the talent can elevate from learning and practice. That I could live with. The what ifs I cannot live with at all. Just cannot.
And the matter of the fact is, this is the 3rd straight week where we've had a winnable game. And it just sucks. And I hate talking about that when we're like, we're talking about the Phillips play on the pass interference. I didn't even think about this until I don't know if it was Tarico or Collinsworth who said it. One of them was like, just let him catch it. Because if it gets tackled in bounds, they don't have any timeouts left. The half is over. Let him catch it. And maybe if they hustle, but at that point there's like less than 10 seconds left. Let him make that catch and then see where it takes you. I mean, it was more pass interference than it wasn't. I thought it was a little ticky tack. I mean, I think it's more. I mean, yeah. I guess at the end of the day, Phillips struggled. Okay, and this is coming off a week where he played really, really well against Dallas. What went wrong with him? Well, one, he was getting turned the wrong way a lot. He had inside leverage, then they cut straight to the outside. That just can't happen. All right, that just can't happen with Drew, especially as a slot corner. When Kansas City, they love their slot receivers. You just can't let that happen. Phillips getting beat. He got beat in the end zone for a touchdown by Thornton. I think Thornton beat him across the middle deep. It was like that big play that set up the sealer touchdown there. He just didn't look well. He just didn't look good at all. And that sucks for me to say. You want who else didn't look good? Russell Wilson. Goodness gracious, that dude stunk. Let's break down that first pick. So that first pick, it's he's under pressure. It was third down, right? Or second down. It wasn't first. Wandale is in the slot, right? You have Wandale in the slot, and you have him going on a deep crosser. That alone is just a bad play call. I mean, he's not that kind of guy. He's the kind of guy, maybe a quick double move, 2 or 3 yards off the snap, and then or the line of scrimmage rather, and then he cuts across the middle. That's a quick 5, 6, 7 yards there for a first down or close to it. But no, you have him going like 30 to 40 yards downfield in triple coverage, no less, because they had the 2 high shell. And then Wilson throws it. One, he underthrew it, so it wasn't even close. Wait, what is going through your mind? Like, I want to know, like, what happened when he went to the sideline? Was Dable like, what did you see? Because there's nothing there. I mean, he was triple covered. He's a 5'8" receiver. Like, that second receiver, the second pick too. Let's break that down really quick. Neighbors, back of the end zone. If you throw that right off when it's 50-50, I think Jalen Watson was on him at that point. Watson's good at staying put with those guys because he got pretty good speed. You got to throw that immediately because give Neighbors a chance. Wilson threw that way too late. Watson had inside leverage on him, and he made the play. Neighbors didn't have a plan, and you could see right after Neighbors was like, "Well, I can't do anything about that because you underthrew me by about like 5 yards. Like I gotta have something here, It just kind of sucks to see. I mean, should we talk about Neighbors being struggling? I don't know if that's necessarily fair. Because I think that McDuffie had him in a cage a little bit, but he was also getting doubled a lot. And that's another issue. When you have Neighbors and no one else, you're going to double Neighbors. And you can leave Wandale and Slayton and Theo in one-on-one coverage, and nothing's going to happen because they all kind of stink at getting separation. You're doubling Neighbors. He had 2 catches, right? I don't know. I don't know if putting him in the struggle bus is fair after this game, but just 2 catches. I think it was mainly the play calling, but you got to get your guy the ball.
I mean, it's Kafka versus Spagnolo, and it's chess versus checkers, and I'm taking Spags 100% of the time. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, they played a percentage of 86.5 of double high safety. That's the highest recorded in 15 years.
That's
okay?
Crazy.
That is unbelievable. And you don't get your guy open? Are you serious? I mean, I said this as soon as the game ended. Good coordinators find ways to get your best player the ball. Doesn't matter what it is. Have to find the best player to get him the ball. And with the Wandale route, I think Wilson's to a point where he thought that was the same route versus Dallas. He didn't understand the shadow. I told you it was the 3 and then the 2 of shadowing and 1 man on Robinson. I mean, dude, he's 5'8". He's not Megatron. He's not going up to catch that. I mean, it's just to a point where Wilson got too impatient, didn't follow the game plan, and just said, F it, Malik's down there somewhere. Mm-hmm. That's all it is at that point. We love the deep balls, and we love that they stay in the air and not 15 yards short, like in past years. But it's to a point where I'm sick and tired of it when they don't connect. And it's just to a point where, we need something to change. There's no identity in our football team anymore. And it's sad to see that there were a lot of red at the stadium.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
A lot of red. And, it's to an identity at this point where the past 12 years, it's been seasons over before October. Terrible. You cannot have that. And it's to a point where the struggles outweigh the good in any of the game, because it's not like, it's one bad game, because the next week it's 10 times worse for the same guy. I think Wilson at the end of the first half had a 19.9 QB rating. 19.9. That is so. It's to a point where I think I could go out there and do better than that. I could at least throw the ball. I could do that. It's just I can't stand the mediocrity anymore. We have so much talent, but the schemes are like for Pee-wee football. That is just so bad on the coaching part. And I hate when the Giants are now not hiring actual head coaches and trying to fill gaps with guys who think they could be head coaches. Obviously our schedule is tough going down the road, and I don't see this team, winning 4 games at best. I think it's time to plan for the offseason and go for the highest graded tackle in the draft, everybody. It's that time of year again. And, it's either Caleb Downs or the Miami tackle. That's what it is now. Week 3, and I'm sorry to say this, Giants fans, we're out of it.
Now, before we get to that point, though, because there's plenty for us to talk about in terms of the future, I think we should at least point out some of the positives. Let's start out. We already talked about the D-line. Carter's been good. Burns has been fantastic. He's been incredible this season. And Kayvon Thibodeau, for what it's worth, has been very good. Expectations for me were kind of low for him. He's exceeded them already. I mean, look, I know he's not going to fill up the stat sheet because that's not what he does. But what he's going to do, he's going to get home. He's going to force the quarterback to move out. We saw that with Mahomes. He was forced to roll out a lot. And that'll give guys like Burns and Carter, if they're running a contain, that'll give those guys a chance to finish the job. Andrew Thomas and Jermaine Illuminor, let's give them both credit. They were both great. I think 1 pressure combined for the both of them. Thomas had 0. I think Illuminor just had 1, which is very impressive. No sacks for either of them. Illuminor, you got to get him extended because he's a big identity guy. He will definitely help this team grow a little bit there. You on who else was a baller? Cam Scatterbo, who was up for Dog of the Week voting on the Talkin Football Podcast Instagram. That's at Talkin Football Pod. Make sure you guys do Dog of the Week voting by the end of today, which is Tuesday, to get your vote in. Those results will be posted tomorrow. But yeah, Scatterbo was great. 121 total yards, 60 on the ground, 61 through the air, plus a touchdown. Really good game for him. I think 24 fantasy points for me, which I'm very happy about on my bench, but we still take it. Scatterbo was great, and that's the guy you gotta go to. I mean, Scatterbo has been such a good player on this team. It's only week 3. For me, I'm looking at Scat all the way for the rest of the season. He is the big identity guy. You want to make change? Look at what Tennessee did. They realized they had a dog at running back with Derrick Henry, and they're like, all right, got to build around him. Bring back the trenches. That's what they did, and they went to the AFC Championship game, and they won the division multiple times. Not saying that this division is the AFC South, but maybe you should think about building around Scatterbo instead of Neighbors. That's just a thought, but that's kind of where my head's at there.
No, I like it. With the Giants, before we start building, I think we need to build in the front office a little bit. I think we need to hire, better coordinators. It's that simple. But after, I 100% agree. I think that we should go there's plenty of offensive linemen in this upcoming free agency. I think Tyler Linderbaum should be at the top of the list. I don't think if he, it doesn't extend with the Ravens, I think that should be our number 1 priority, even though the caps, iffy. I think we should free up some cap space, renegotiate some contracts. Should be in the clear. That should be our one big splash move. But I 100% agree because Scatterbo brings something to this team to where, like, if there's a hole, he's going right through him. And if there's somebody in front of him, he's going right through him. CTE Sports at its finest. And I love it. And that's what happens. He's so low to the ground that he could use all of his power, and he just runs so hard. And he's just such a likable player. He's not, he was awesome. He was awesome on Sunday Night Football. He's not a guy who's, he definitely could be a top tier guy, but he's so criminally underrated that, he wasn't a top back in the draft. He was a fourth round pick because of how much talent there was. But he's so good. I mean, he's outplaying Genti at this point.
Easily. Yeah.
Can't blame Genti because of the offensive line. But I think Scadboo, his interior offensive line is just as worse. Just as worse. And, because I wouldn't want to be running behind John Michael Schmitz. I wouldn't be happy with that. Just, it's to a point where, there's definitely ballers week to week, but then there's also fallers week to week. And you have to all understand that we need to propel from this, and we need to find our identity. Because I think Dayball's gotten soft. I think Kafka's gotten soft. Shane's, top tier classes have gone soft. And Mara, you don't see this guy on anything but primetime games. He's out on his helicopter on his golf course. I mean, he's just release him from football operations. We need when I talk about fresh start, I'm talking everywhere. Every square inch of MetLife Stadium needs a head start.
Yeah, and you mentioned John Maris. We figured no better way to transition to one of our last segments. Who's to blame for this mess? And you sent me this picture, so I'll give you credit here. That's your problem. These three are your problem. This dude right here is a buffoon. He has no idea what he's doing. He's literally the Bronny James of NFL owners. This dude has no passion for the game anymore. You can see it. He's just grumpy on the sideline. And this dude, goodness gracious. And what sucks about this is that Joe Shane saved his job with these last few draft classes. He got Neighbors, he got Dart, he got Carter, he got Scatabo. Those are pieces, Anubin as well. Those are pieces you build around. So he saved his job barely by getting that. If he didn't have that kind of draft, he would be nowhere near an NFL front office. It's just like, I think, and I agree with you, I think we need to kind of just clean house a little bit. Who the next head coach is? I have a pretty good thought of who it could be. My agenda is something along the lines of this: new head coach, new GM. Get rid of Joe Shane. Okay, promote Brandon Brown. Brandon Brown is a smart guy, and I'm just saying he's gotten interviews for the last 3 years, and create a new culture. The Giants have never had, well, other than Jerry Reese, I guess, have had like a GM of color. That's just not where they go. John Mara never goes that direction ever. Okay, he never does. Maybe having someone like that could change the identity, because Brandon Brown, I think, brings a little bit of pep in his step, a little, if you know what I'm saying. No, that's not the way I want to describe him, but he brings something new and refreshing. Joe Shane is the same old arrogant guy, like he thinks he's the greatest GM on the planet, which he's not even close. Might be the worst one. And then you want to talk about a new head coach? I'd go back to the team you took Brian Daboll from. Take Joe Brady. You need an offensive-minded guy. Look no further than Joe Brady. This dude knows what he's doing. And you want to know how I know that? You look, well, granted, he has a superhero quarterback, okay? But his best receiver is Khalil Shakir, who I can compare. I think Wanda Robinson's a little bit worse than Shakir. Imagine what he can do with a guy like Malik Neighbors. That's what I would say. So I think who's to blame? The Crunch Bunch. Right? That's what you call them, the Crunch Bunch. Right here. These three guys who, for some reason, are still together. I don't know why. Mara needs to step down. If Mara gave Steve Tisch a little bit more of a say in this team, we would be way better off. Get rid of Daboll, bring in Joe Brady, get rid of Shane, promote Brandon Brown. He's the assistant GM for those who don't know. That's what I would do to save this team.
I love what you're saying now, and I think that's good for long term. Short term, I agree with you. I think short term we promote Brandon Brown. I think we fire Joe Shane today. Please God. Please fire him. Draft classes have been good, but they haven't been panned out. They suck. I think short term for this mess, I think we fire Bowen immediately. Get him out of the city, get him out of the going back to Tennessee. I don't care. I think we promote Andre Patterson. I think he has a sense of identity for this team. I think
Yep.
he could definitely be the intern defensive coordinator. And for the head coach, I like Brady, and I feel like he's definitely smarter than Dayball offensively, and I think he's definitely has a ton of potential. The only thing that scares me is that, head coach wise, I'd rather someone who's done it rather than someone who's on the upbringing of it. Just like we'd be doing the same thing where we're taking the Bills offensive coordinator. That's the only thing that scares me. But I think Brady is a really smart guy and can figure with Dart and Neighbors and take that to the sky. I really believe in that. Offensive coordinator wise, they would never do this, but I love John Gruden so much. The guy loves Dart and could propel him to new heights that can skyrocket. But overall, I wouldn't mind, anybody on the market because I know it's better than this disaster class. But looking at the long term and, Andre Patterson not being promoted, Antonio Pierce for DC would be incredible. Absolutely incredible because he just brings an identity to where ball till we fall, just bend, don't break. And he just brings a sense of toughness and fear that would bring this defense to like a whole new level. Like the Raiders, and he was a former Giant, and he knows New York, and he was seen talking to Malik with OBJ post game after Sunday night.
Yeah.
And I just think there's a sense of, we need to rehire our own, and we need to, give them a job to fix an organization where they once played for and still have love for. I mean, it's to a point where I'll take 78-year-old Tom Coughlin any day. I'll run through a wall for that guy if I played for him. I mean, you need guts, and you can't just hire a bunch of softies to run a football team. You just cannot do that. Even Lawrence Tynes was spitting ball on Twitter. He said, you can't play call soft to win these tough football games. You need to take risks and you need to keep trying. You can't just rely on the same, non-consistent soft approach. And he's so right. And he was just a kicker.
100%.
He's just a kicker. You need to find the right guys to develop Dart, to develop Neighbors, and to have an actual offensive and defensive identity. And you just can't let Mara ruin this team. He's a skeleton. And it would be great if he promoted Brandon Brown, but I guarantee you he's not, because he's from the 50s and the 60s. Mara is just he's a cornball. He's a goofball. He's just a terrible owner for sports. He brings no identity to this team. I mean, what was like the last motto we had? Smart, tough, dependable. I mean,
No one on the team has any of those except for Scatterbo. He's tough. He's not smart though.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, like, what is that cornball stuff? I mean, that was the worst 3 letters. Like that was from like some 3rd grade classroom that they found or something.
And the thing is that's so funny about it is that like being smart, tough, and dependable says nothing about your team. That every team in the NFL is smart, tough, and dependable. Like that doesn't make you stand out. That's just you trying to be different. Like you want just say grit. Like at Notre Dame they have played like a champion today. Just have grit. Like post in the locker room. Just put that one word there. Grit. Bang. Like,
I 100% agree. I think it was in 2015 where we had that little sign that looked like a stop sign on the top before in the main entrance out to the field, and it said "Always believe" or something like that. And I remember OBJ tapping that, or it was like "Go Big Blue" or something like that. Anything like that, not smart, tough, and dependable. It's like something my 4th grade teacher would say. I mean, it's so bad. It's just like Yeah, you operated your office and you reoperated the draft room to say that. Like, no, I don't want that. Like, I want grit. I want strength, and I want mental fortitude. That's what I want. I want guys who will go out there on and off the field, represent the team with grit, and just go out there and ball every week until their knees just drop. I want that every single day. I want guys in that film room where we went wrong, where we went right. I want guys on that field. If we're up 42 nothing or down 14 to nothing after the first half, I want guys who will go into that locker room and say, "We're always in it. We're always in it." And it's sad because we had guys like that: Justin Tuck, Eli Manning, Brandon Jacobs. I mean, Michael Strahan. Even Prince Yakamura, the Nigerian prince. I mean, we had guys like that, man. We had guys that were just there every single day and prepared like warriors. They prepared like guys who wanted to just go out on that battlefield and strike every single time. Every touchdown, every point scored, every sack, every interception meant something. And now with Bowen, we have the turnover chest. I don't give a crap about a turnover chest. I want turnovers. I think we've only seen that turnover chest once. Who cares? I don't. I want results. I want my Brian Burns has been on an excellent pace. He's like record breaking on pace for record breaking pressures and 17 sacks. Like, yeah, I'll take the stat sheet, but I want the wins. I want the
Yeah.
wins bad. That's all I care about at this point. And we hype up football so much to where once your team like loses one, you feel down, and when you're 3 weeks in, you haven't won a game. Like, something's got to change, and I hope that they make these short-term moves, but they're not. They aren't.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, honestly, like I wouldn't even bring in Eli, take him out of Monday Night Football, bring him in to save the team, please. Speaking of another quarterback, and I think we probably share a very similar answer here. I don't even think it should even be a question. Yes, he should be starting. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He should be starting. Look at where you are. You're 0-3. Your season's over. Russ is on a 1-year deal. He's not going to be back next season. Unless he has some unless his price drops tremendously or he really leads the locker room, which is not true because he's not really a locker room leader to begin with. You got to start Jaxson Dart. See what you have, because if you know you have something and your offense drastically changes, then you can say, okay, well, this is Daboll's first real quarterback that he actually likes, and he's working with him. Maybe he should stick around. Or let's just say Dart is like, he's all right. Okay, well, if he's all right in this system, imagine what he would be like in a different system. So maybe we should bring in a new guy. You got to make that change now, though. After his rookie year, you got to make that change. Okay, but again, we've also seen it we've seen it before where Daniel Jones was very good in his rookie year, and then Shermer got fired. Or no, sorry, Shermer got fired. No, he got fired after that year. Okay. Shermer got fired after the year, and then they brought in Joe Judge. That's not what you need. You need to bring in another offensive guy, okay? I would start Jaxson Dart. My only concern, though, you're playing against the Chargers, who have been so good. And you're like, oh, well, you maybe start the week after. No, because New Orleans is loud, okay? And I know he's used to playing it because he played in the SEC. Start him this week. Start him this week against the AFC team that you're only going to see once. Might not see them for another year or two. Play him now. See what you got with him. And if you realize that he's clearly not ready for it, then you maybe want to go back to Russ. Maybe go back to Jameis Winston. Maybe go back to Tim Boyle. Bring him back from the dead. Go to someone new. I would give him a shot this week, though. Your season's over. You're 0-3. You're not making the playoffs. I would give Dart the start this week.
Yes, and yes. I mean, there's no other answer. But there's always a saying: you draft the quarterback who's you draft a quarterback, who the next guy is going to take over. I think Dart is a I think he's going to be a QB who is going to get developed by another head coach, and that's just the way I see it. I think that I mean he brings an aura to the team to where he comes in for a 1 to 2 play run package special, RPO special. He handed the ball off to Scattaboo and 15 yards right there because there's a threat to run. I don't know why we didn't keep him in. We could have put up points right there, and we didn't. The next play after Dart went out, we ran another RPO. Wilson kept the ball, -3 yards. There's no threat to run there. If they know if he keeps it, he's 37 years old. I mean, what are we doing? It's like, Brian Daboll, he's edging us. He's trying to it's almost like we're getting rationed. Like, oh, here is an inch of the chicken, Dexter Lawrence. Here it is. And then as soon as he takes an inch of bite, it's gone. No, off your plate.
It's a little preview.
It's a little preview. And that sucks. Because we know we have a young and a QB who could be the star of anything. He could be the next great. He has that talent. But then you put him on the field and then you take him off the field. And then the energy just drops. And you hear it from the crowd because they want something new. And Wilson didn't even have 100 passing yards last game. And Dart can stay in there, take a hit, throw it to the middle of the field, recognize coverage, and is such a smart quarterback and can run. And you just take it off the field and it's almost like you literally choking us by the neck. I can't stand that. That's the one thing that I hated. I said it many times. I said, if Russ struggles, put Dart in and go win a football game. Go win a football game. Andrew Thomas was back. I don't think Thomas should be on a snap count next week. I think it should be an instant start. I think all Giants fans agreed that when Thomas was healthy and when he started, Dart should have started that same week. And I really strongly believe that it should have been week 3 because if you won, you're 1-2 instead of 0-3, and would have had a slight chance, but it would have been 1-2 sounds better than 0-3. It sounds like you're fighting and not in 6 feet under. That's what it sounds like. And you see it in the play calling. This is Dart's playbook, not Wilson. This is Dart's. This is Dart's playbook, and he can exceed with this playbook. Dart has the better arm than Russ. He can make throws like I've never seen. He's got a great deep ball, and he can make those side action throws, the sidearm throws, and he could do everything. And he's such a young talent. Give us that aura. I mean, he's got the swag, and I really think he's just. There should be no answer. There shouldn't even be a question, like you said. But it's the New York Giants, and they're saying, "Oh, we could develop him." There's no development like real action snaps. Let him figure it out on his own, and that's how you build mental toughness, and that's how you build a quarterback. I know they're saying "Oh," and I was a big favor of this before the season start. Don't let him touch the ball. Mahomes style with Alex Smith. We don't have an Alex Smith. We don't have an Andy Reid. We don't have a Chiefs style locker room. We're the New York Giants. We've always sucked. And Mahomes, there's similarities between Mahomes and Dart. I'm not saying Dart's the next Mahomes, but Dart is something special. And it's to a point where Daboll has got to stop edging us. He can't. I mean, you see, you hear the sound of the stadium when Dart comes in. It's almost like Messiah.
It's loud, yeah.
It's like Jesus just stepped foot on that field. But and it's like when you take him off, I think they booed louder than they cheered, and that's just sad to see because the fans want a new product. That's what they want, and I feel like that's what every Giant fan wants. And I'm gonna keep saying this. It's sad to see. That's all it is. And we know Dart can make plays. We know Dart alone opens up the offensive line. I mean, Scatterboo versus the Cowboys had that 25-yard run and then a touchdown because of Dart. Dart's a threat. And he's a rookie, and he's only played what, 5 snaps?
Yeah, right-ish.
4? I mean, come on now. He is there's no more words to describe him. He could be an extreme talent. And if he goes out there and starts versus the Chargers and wins, you have something. Because you don't see the Chargers for the next 4 years. I can't stress it enough, Kyle. I can't. I
Yeah.
can't. You have to start Jaxson Dart. You have to.
100%. I think there's no other solution right now. That your season's going nowhere. It's time to answer the phone and start Jaxson Dart. Thank you all for watching. This is our first rant session, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more of it, be sure to comment. Let us know what you guys think of it. While you're commenting, like and subscribe as well. And also follow the Instagram. I'll be posting there much more. Danny, thank you for coming on the show. This is Talkin Football, and that's what I'm going to say about that.